My husband's family stole all my inheritance and traded it for better family gifts, and if your first instinct is to blink hard and reread congratulations, you've already done more due diligence than anyone in my in-laws group chat. I'm Mara, 32, a museum archivist who spends my days coaxing stories out of paper and metal and dust. I live inside timelines for a living. I touch things like they have memories. I can reconstruct a life from a ledger line and a grease pencil note in the margin. I could not, it turns out, stop a family of extroverted bargain hunters from converting my grandmother's last love letter to me, an $86,430 inheritance and a small velvet pouch of heirlooms, into better gifts, a stainless steel refrigerator I don't own, a cruise I didn't take, and a kitchen reno for a woman who once asked me if my job was just filing. It started with soup and a spreadsheet. My grandmother, Rose, died in May, and the lawyer read her will in a room that smelled like lemon oil and endings. She left bequests to all her grandchildren, to me the cash she'd saved by not smoking for 30 years, her joke, her truth, and a velvet pouch with a brooch the size of a thumbprint and a watch that still ticked polite little seconds. I cried in the parking lot the way you do when grief feels too tidy and wants to loosen its tie. Then I did what archivists do, I made a folder. I scanned the will, the letter she'd tucked in. Mara, you always kept the stories. Use this to keep your own, the insurance appraisal for the jewelry, the bank transfer confirmation. I named the files with a discipline that would make future me proud. My husband, Liam, hugged me tight, cried his careful tears, and said what felt right: she trusted you. We were married 4 years, together 6. We had a dog who loved only us and socks. We had a 1-bedroom apartment with a kitchen that thought it was a closet. We had talked about a down payment in a city that charges a fee for ambition. The inheritance was a pressure valve and a benediction. Let's park it, I said. We'll decide in 3 months. Archivists love clocks. Enter Colleen, my mother-in-law, who believes family decisions should be made in public and quickly, like bidding at an auction. We're doing pooled gifts this year, she announced in the family text, 2 weeks before December, sprinkles of confetti emojis like a magician. It makes sense. Everyone throws in. We get better things. No more small stuff. We invest in the family. Love that, wrote Tori, sister-in-law, influencer energy, hashtags for breakfast. Better things, wrote Nate, brother-in-law, CrossFit and coupons. Liam added, we're in. I typed, let's talk about budget, and got 3 heart reactions and a link to a commercial oven I could have sworn was winking. I should have said no right then. I should have said our money isn't a vote. But marriage is compromise and the holidays are theater, and I was tired of being the museum person who takes air out of rooms by insisting on provenance. Fine, I said to Liam, in our kitchen that could barely hold 2 elbows. We'll contribute, but we're not using my inheritance for holiday gifts. That's Grandma's wish. Of course, he said, breezy as garnish. It's for us. I meant the normal gift budget. The better things are about pooling, not raiding. I believed him the way you believe a chair will be a chair when you sit down. 2 Saturdays later, after a cookie exchange where every cookie tasted like nostalgia and butter, we were at his parents' house, the cul-de-sac cathedral of Colleen's authority. There was a whiteboard, a pot of cider, and the kind of planning energy that frightens chaos. Okay, she chirped. We've already ordered the big one. She whipped off a dish towel like a magician revealing a rabbit. Beneath, a printed photo of a triple-door refrigerator large enough to house a yoga class. For us all, she announced. Think of the memories, the space for leftovers, the... For us all, I repeated, politely confused. Where is the refrigerator going to live? In our kitchen, she said, as if physics were quaint. And how is that a gift for us? I asked, perfect calm sliding over the shop. Family headquarters, she said, doing jazz hands at her island. Your turkey will live here next year. Think of Thanksgiving. Better things, shared joy, oh. And we found a crazy deal on a Peloton for Tori and Nate's garage. Group discount. Win-win. I looked at Liam. He had the smile men practice in mirrors when they want to look like bridges instead of accomplices. It's for all of us, he said again, softer. Like a hub. How much is all of us contributing? I asked. Just the usual, Colleen said. Oh. And Liam texted that you had that inheritance so you could be the hero this year and front the bulk, and then over the next, few years we'll even it out. We'll pay your generosity forward. My bones rang. He said what? I asked, turning my head very slowly so I wouldn't break the air. It's family, she said, like the incantation it is. We don't need to nickel and dime. Liam sent the transfer already, thank you, dear. The discount was expiring. The room tilted. What transfer? I asked, louder now. Liam took my elbow like a man guiding a horse he is secretly afraid of. Babe, he murmured, we can talk. Here, I said, is excellent. He blinked and did the thing our therapist calls a motion costume, pick the outfit that might fit the room. It's temporary, he said. Just moving money to get the sale. It's better things. Grandma would have loved. Do not, I said, every syllable its own blade, use my grandmother's name as a coupon code. Colleen put a hand to her chest like she had discovered decorum. Oh, Mara, don't be dramatic. It's just money. You can't take it with you. That's the point, I said. She gave it to me so I could take something with me in the years she's not here. I left before I told them exactly what to do with their refrigerator. In the car, I did what archivists do when the room burns. I collected. I opened the banking app. There it was, an $18,000 transfer labeled Family Gift Pool Liam, plus 2 charges, $6,200 to a big box store in Colleen's suburb, the refrigerator, and $2,499 to Peloton Interactive. Another $3,800 to Haven Cruises, a deposit. My stomach sank. A $1,200 charge to Martha's Cabinets. And salt in the wound, a $480 ornament order from a boutique that sells wooden reindeer with hand-tied scarves. I scrolled until the screen blurred. My inheritance account had been linked to our joint. Liam had authorization. And he had used it. Unlock, I whispered to my phone like it owed me kindness, and moved the remaining funds into a new account with my name only. I changed the passwords. I disabled transfers. I UN-linked everything that had ever known my grandmother's name. Then I called the bank. Unauthorized, the representative asked. Unconsented, I said, tasting the syllables. He had access, he did not have my permission. We can open an investigation, she said, kind, careful. We can't guarantee recovery. We can guarantee documentation, I said. Start there. When I got home, I went to work the way rage does when it's smarter than explosion. I pulled every receipt out of the family email. Colleen is addicted to reply all and the subject line so excited. I built a timeline like a murder board without the yarn. The refrigerator shipping address? Colleen's. The Peloton? Tori and Nate's garage. The cruise? 2 cabins, 4 people, Colleen, father-in-law Fred, Tori, and Nate. The cabin upgrade was called Gratitude. Martha's Cabinets. A deposit for Colleen's backsplash refresh. The ornament order. 24 personalized family heirlooms. No purchase to our address. None. Not a single better thing for the 2 of us whose money had paid for everything. Archivists live for provenance. I messaged the jeweler who had appraised Grandma's brooch and watched to schedule a revaluation, because the little velvet pouch also lived at my in-laws. It'll be safer with us, Colleen had said, a phrase I should have stitched onto a pillow labeled NO. The jeweler never got back to me. Instead, my favorite pawnshop clerk, yes I have one, archivists frequent interesting places, texted me a blurry photo, a brooch I recognized perched in a case between tragic cufflinks. I left work mid-email and ducked into the shop that smells like nickel and regret. Came in yesterday, the clerk whispered, because he knows how stories travel. Woman said it was her mother's, needed to pay for a renovation. My hand shook when I saw the maker's mark, exact, unmistakable. The little crescent the jeweler taught me to look for. I bought my grandmother's brooch back with my emergency fund, and the clerk wrapped it in tissue like it was a baby. I cried into my scarf in my car, and my grandmother did not climb out of the glove box to tell me what to do, So I did the next best thing. I called an attorney. Financial abuse inside families often looks like generosity, she said, not unkind. They'll call it pooling, sharing, legacy. You'll need receipts and calm. You have both. I have a spreadsheet that could send a man to the moon, I said. She laughed. Good. Start with a demand letter for immediate return of the jewelry pouch and reimbursement of the transfers, less any charges indisputably for you. It's likely they'll bluster. They may call you ungrateful. Prepare a simple script. I prepared scripts. I will not debate my boundaries. No is a complete sentence. I won't be attending a conversation that treats theft as drama. I practiced in the mirror like a woman auditioning for the part of herself. Liam came home defensive and damp as a dog in rain. You embarrassed me, he said, as if my fury had worn a costume and I owed him a change of clothes. You stole from me, I said. Worse, you let them. It's family, he tried again, the word losing vowels as it dragged. We're investing in the hub. We get the cruise next time. There won't be a next time, I said. Not with my money. Not with my name. He opened and closed his fists like he was squeezing air into reasons. I thought we were a unit, he said. What's yours is mine. What's mine is mine unless I give it, I said. That's how consent works. You don't know that about bodies. You don't know it about bank accounts. That scares me. He slept at his parents' that night and texted me a photo of the refrigerator like a child trying to prove he can ride a bike. I turned off my notifications and pressed my forehead to the cool of my own tiny, faithful fridge and considered living alone forever with yogurt and decisiveness. The demand letter did what demand letters do, it arranged chairs. Colleen called me an hour after she signed for it. You sent us a threat, she said, injured, like a woman who has never been told no outside a spa. I sent you a boundary, I said. You crossed one. It bites. You're tearing the family apart over things, she said. Better things, group joy. You took my grandmother's brooch to a pawn shop, I said. You turned her watch into grout. This isn't about things. It's about what you call love when it's convenient. She sniffed. Your grandmother would be horrified you hired a lawyer. My grandmother hired a lawyer in 1969 when her boss paid the men more, I said. So no. We met in their kitchen for what Liam called a reset. I wore my work clothes on purpose, black slacks, soft sweater, my museum badge clipped to the pocket, armor made of competence. I set a folder on the island and pulled out printouts like an exhibit. Provenance, I said, because sometimes you need to force people into your language. Transfer, receipt, shipping address. Here is the Peloton delivery photo in Nate's driveway. Here is the cruise booking with your names. Here is the backsplash deposit to the exact cabinetry company that did your neighbors. Here, just for fun, is the ornament order for family heirlooms. I will not be inheriting wooden reindeer with the hearts burned into their chests. Don't be cruel, Tori said, mirroring Colleen's hand to chest. It's the holidays. Cruel is using the dead to justify the theft of the living, I said. Here is the appraisal for the brooch you pawned. Here is the dealer's photo. Here is the receipt where I bought it back. Here is a copy of the police report number I opened to document the pawning of stolen property. You wouldn't, Fred said, the first words he'd offered since telling me 3 Thanksgivings ago that my job sounded dusty. I did, I said. Because I don't know how to make you respect me without involving a third party. Liam was pale in the way that makes you want to shake men and say, stand up. We'll pay it back, he said. Every cent payment plan. Interest. We'll sell the Peloton. Tori gasped. No. Then you'll find another way, I said. And the jewelry pouch now. Colleen sputtered. It's mine, she said. Well, yours, ours, we were keeping it safe. It's mine, I said. Now. She fetched it from the whole closet like a dog producing a stolen shoe. The watch was missing. Where is it? I asked, voice flat. Colleen's mouth went small. I had it resized, she said. The jeweler is closed for the holiday. Which jeweler? I asked. She lied, I could smell it. I'll follow up with the police, I said. She burst into tears then, the kind that falls fast and expects towels. You are punishing us, she sobbed. You're cold. I am careful, I said. It's a museum habit. I wear it home. We left with the pouch, velvet heavier with rage than metal. Liam carried it like penance. In the car he said, I'll fix this, and I said, you can fix your part. I'll fix mine. My part looked like a new bank, a new lock on our door, then my door, a new therapist who specialized in high-functioning betrayal, and a pause on marriage while I audited who I was when I wasn't busy polishing other people's plaques. Liam sent me Venmo payments with descriptions like installment 1 and interest and apology for 3 months. He cancelled the cruise, non-refundable deposit be damned. He returned the Peloton to a man named Brad who flipped them for sport. He resold the refrigerator to a neighbor for a loss and ate casserole in the bare hum of his kitchen like a pilgrim. Colleen posted a Facebook status about the death of generosity and Lloyd family and tagged nobody like a coward. My aunt sent me a screenshot with the caption, "Oh honey," and I sent back the police report number with "Oh evidence." The watch showed up in a padded mailer with no note. I took it to the jeweler Grandma loved, and the woman behind the counter touched it like a cheek. You found it, she said. It found me, I said. Now it can rest. People ask me, my own mother, co-workers, a girl at the coffee shop who eavesdropped with admirable discretion, if I stayed married. The answer is, I stayed with myself first. Liam and I did a year of Tuesdays in a room with a couch and a woman who had learned to let my silence win. He learned that family is not a synonym for free. He learned that we doesn't give a man a skeleton key to me. He learned apology as something other than a sponge. I learned that vigilance is a virtue until it eats your sleep. I learned that rage can be a bridge if you walk it with boots. We signed papers. Not divorce yet. A postnup drafted in plain, muscular language. My inheritance is mine, my premarital assets are mine, consent and finances looks like signatures and timestamps, the end. He read it with a face that understood for the first time that contracts are love letters too, the kind that say, I will not let you be swallowed by my father's jokes. In the spring, I took the money left, the part that hadn't become grout and cruise deposits, and did something that would have made Rose laugh in her throat. I rented a light-soaked studio and started a community archiving project in her name. Saturday mornings, I open the doors and people bring me showboxes of their lives. I scan photos of great-grandmothers standing in front of books. I label yearbooks. I teach teens to ask their elders for the names in the margins. I wear the watch. The brooch sits in a little frame on my desk like an exclamation mark I earned. Colleen hasn't been in the studio. She has sent 3 texts that look like coupons for reconciliation. Family dinner. We miss you. You know I didn't mean, I ignore the ellipses because that's where the trap lives. Tori posted a Peloton for sale on Facebook Marketplace with the description like new, barely used. Nate commented gains elsewhere. Liam, to his credit, shows up on Saturdays to move the heavy flatbed scanner and one time to carry a box for a man whose hands shook. He has a look some days, wishful, honest. I don't pity him anymore. I watch him work out whether he is a person who can become someone worth keeping. On the 1-year anniversary of Rose's death, I stood on my studio step with a paper cup of terrible coffee and read her letter again. Use this to keep your own, she'd written in slanted teacher script. I had thought she meant money. Maybe she did. I think she also meant story. Keep your own story, Mara. Don't let anybody trade it for a refrigerator. I still love gifts. I do. The artisanal jam a neighbor left at my door with a note, for your toast. For your mornings. The plant a friend gave me still alive somehow. The quiet my apartment has at 9 p.m., a gift I wrapped myself when I told the man I loved that I would not love him under terms that made me small. When people ask what I want for my birthday, I say books and boundaries, and the ones who get me laugh and bring both. Sometimes I tell the teens who come to the studio the story, the PG version. A woman inherited money. Her in-laws turned it into appliances because the patriarchy is very creative. They lean forward, eyes bright. One girl says, "Did you call the cops?" I say, "I called myself first." They look confused, then nod like I have assigned them a riddle with extra credit. The last time I saw Colleen, it was in the cereal aisle. She reached for the granola like it owed her a favor. She looked tired in a way that was new, less performed, more earned. "Mara," she said, and the word didn't try to do an entire play this time. "You look good." "I am," I said, like I had rehearsed it. "I'm making a list of things I don't touch," she blurted, then looked startled at her own honesty, like a deer admitting it loves salt. "Phones. Bank stuff. Your name." She swallowed. "I don't know how to be a mother if I'm not in everything." "You knock," I said. "You ask if now is a good time. You leave if it isn't." She nodded once. "I can do that," she said, like a child promising not to draw on walls. I paid for my oatmeal and walked out into a day that wasn't trying to teach me a lesson. At home, I put the watch on the windowsill and watered the plant and set a pot of soup to simmer, the kind Rose made from almost nothing. When the broth was right, I ladled some into a jar and wrote "For Liam" on blue tape and left it in the building's lobby fridge because kindness I choose is not the same as access taken. 2 hours later, it was gone. No note. The world continued spinning in its ridiculous way. If you're sitting with a folder in your lap and a family chanting better things, I wish you this: a spine made of records and a heart that still remembers joy. I wish you the courage to call theft by its name even when the thief brings pie. I wish you a lawyer who speaks in verbs and a therapist who doesn't flinch when you say, "My mother-in-law pawned my grandmother." I wish you the pose you can do that looks like calm and is actually strength. I wish you a room with good light where you keep your own. And if anyone tries to turn your inheritance, money, jewelry, story into a community refrigerator in a house you don't live in, I hope you feel your grandmother's hand on your shoulder the way I did, steady as a metronome, a voice in the cadence of women who keep both recipes and receipts. No, darling. Not this time. Not this way.